Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to WDW Opinion Live. My name is Conor Brown, and my passion is Walt Disney World. I've been traveling to the parks for the last 20 years, and I'm also a former cast member, so I know what it takes to make the magic. And my passion is simple. It's to help you plan for and daydream about your next perfect Disney World vacation. I do this by sharing my thoughts and opinions and knowledge with the WDW Opinion blog, podcast, these Facebook live streams, and so much more. You can head over to WDWOpinion.com to see all the ongoing things we've got going on. Thanks again for being here, everyone. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Austin, as always, thank you so very much for being here. Hope Orlando is treating you well. Opinioneers, how are we doing this evening? When you do show up, let us know where you're coming from. Let us know if you're tuning in for the first time. Keep it chill in the chat, but also be sure to make friends. And let me also just say this, if you think you have other friends that want to be joining us right here live on Facebook, then share this show out so that we can bring our WDW Opinioneer community to everyone, and we can share all of our Walt Disney World knowledge and fun and everything like that, just so we can have a blast. I'm excited to be with you here, like I am excited every single Tuesday. There's been a lot of Disney news going on, so that's what we're going to do. We'll go in a couple Disney news stories. We got one about the parks, one about movies, one about maybe a merger, right? That's been in the works for quite a while. Then we'll dive into some WDW opinion content. All the while, I'll be sharing my thoughts with you guys, and you be sure to share it in the chat as well. We can discuss what your opinions are. Sue, hello, and happy Tuesday from Maryland. Right back at you. To start, I just want to say thank you so very much to everyone who is a member of the WDW Opinioneers community. Let me first just say this. If you're watching this, if you've interacted with anything, you're an opinioneer. What's an opinioneer? Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Opinioneer takes opinion, like all the opinions we have and share, and mouseketeer, like our love of Disney, and it puts it together, forming opinioneers. That's how we're able to share our love of Disney. Our home is over on our Facebook page. You can go to wdwopinion.com/opinioneers. It'll take you right there. And the best part about this community is that you drive the conversation, just like someone like Lou. Hello, Lou. Glad you could be here. She was talking today on the WDW Opinioneers community about the Run Disney events and how the Wine and Dine Half Marathon just went on sale today. She was trying to convince me to run. I'll be honest, it is on my bucket list doing a Run Disney event, but I'm not in shape yet. I'm not even close to being in shape yet, but maybe one day we'll be there. So hello to you, you fellow WDW Opinioneers. All right, listen, let's get into some Disney news, shall we? Our first news story is that there's a new restaurant coming to the France Pavilion at Epcot, and it's focusing on crepes, right? All right, scheduled to be built in an all-new location near the previously announced Remy's Ratatouille Adventure attraction, the new Crêperie will feature the cuisine of celebrity chef Jerome Bocuse. I can never pronounce his last name, the mastermind behind the pavilion's Chefs de France Brasserie and its celebration of gourmet cuisine, Monsieur Paul, which is right above Chefs de France. With a menu inspired by the Bretagne region of France, the new location will offer table service dining as well as a quick service stop for guests craving savory crepes called galettes and also sweet crepes. Very cool indeed. Also, side note, a news story that did not make the cut on this episode of the live stream is that Haleo, celebrity chef Jose Andres' restaurant, just opened in Disney Springs. And Haleo is a sit-down restaurant featuring Spanish-style tapas, but it also has a quick service component called Pepe, I believe. So it seems like this creperie is kind of taking that same approach. There's going to be a quick service option, but if you want to sit down and have a full meal, you're also able to do that. Very cool. The restaurant is part of a multi-year transformation of Epcot and an enrichment of the French Pavilion that includes, in addition to the classic Impressions de France, a Beauty and Beast sing-along experience, and Remy's Ratatouille adventure attraction, in which guests will virtually shrink to the size of the French cuisine's most famous rat and scurry to safety across the kitchen of Gusteau's legendary Parisian restaurant. All of these things are coming to the park and to the pavilion in time for the 50th anniversary of the Walt Disney World Resort. And you're right, Zare Sim, it is going to be there by the 50th anniversary in 2021. Sue Brown says, I hope they have Nutella grapes. I'm right there with you, Sue. I think this is going to be really cool because, yes, as we know, many crepes are sweet, but what this is going to do is really elevate crepes. I think you're going to get a lot more savory crepes. I assume you're going to have other entrees on the menu as well. A very cool concept. I love Disney dining because it's always something that you can't ever get in your daily life, right? A good Disney restaurant is something that you'll only be able to experience there in Walt Disney World. I think this creperie is just an example of that. Not every day are you able to, indulge in that kind of cuisine, but here Disney is giving you that ability to do so. I also think it's cool that this pavilion is getting a lot more than just a singular attraction in Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. It's getting, this new quick service and this new table service restaurant, this new kind of facade. You can see it up there in the corner. It's going to look like almost a new street, I would think. I think there's going to be some other elements coming to the pavilion from a construction standpoint. I think that pavilion is going to get a little bit bigger than what we're used to, obviously to accommodate the attraction. So there you go. Very cool. Is this a restaurant you're excited to try, or is it something you might just keep walking past? And also, what is your favorite Epcot restaurant when it comes to the World Showcase? There's so much incredible cuisine in there. I think this is going to be an additional cool option. There hasn't been a name yet or a time when it will open up, what season it will open up. Again, we just know that it's going to open up sometime before 2021 when that 50th anniversary is. So stay tuned for that, because once we hear details of it, we're definitely going to be giving you all that information. Danielle, hello from Long Island. Hope you are doing well. Always good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so the new creperie is coming to the France Pavilion in Epcot. Let's move on to our second story. Story number 2, we finally get a full Toy Story 4 trailer. It debuted earlier today, this morning. I believe it first debuted on Good Morning America. I was very excited to watch this. I've watched it a couple of times. Let me just say, Toy Story is my favorite movie ever. It was the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater. And I love it. I've grown up on it. I've grown up on those characters. When Toy Story 3 came around, Andy was going to college right around the time I was going to college. It was definitely a kind of a monumental trilogy in my life, which is awesome. The fourth one looks to, usher in maybe some new characters, but also a new generation of fans, I think, are gonna really start to appreciate these stories and these characters, which is great. Danielle is very excited for this as well. So listen, we can talk about a trailer all we want, right? I can say, this happened and then this happened and then this happened, but wouldn't it be more fun if we just, if we watch the trailer together, right? That'd be a lot more fun. That'd be cool, right? Well, I think I can do that. So bear with me, because this is the first time I'm gonna try this. But let's watch the trailer. Let's get our comments, our thoughts, and opinions in real time. Let's start the trailer, shall we? All right, here we go. Sharing screen.
Everyone, Bonnie made a friend in class.
Oh, she's already making friends.
No, she literally made a new friend. I want you to meet Forky.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Ah!
He's a spork.
Yes, yeah, I know. Forky is the most important toy to Bonnie right now. We all have to make sure nothing happens to him.
Woody, we have a situation.
I am not a toy. I was made for soup, salad, maybe chili, and then the trash.
Buzz, we've got to get Forky.
Affirmative.
Why am I alive? You're Bonnie's toy. You are going to help create happy memories that will last for the rest of her life.
Huh? What?
Oh, yeah. Bo? Forky, come on. Bo?
Hi there. My name is Gabby.
We can't stay.
Yes, you can. Boys. Woody, behind you!
Bo! What are you doing here?
No time to explain. Come with me.
We need to get back to our kid.
Aw, Sheriff Woody, always coming to the rescue.
Bonnie needs Forky.
Woody, who needs a kid's room when you can have all of this?
Wow. Woody, aren't we going to Bonnie?
We have to find them.
What do we do, Buzz?
What would Woody do?
Jump out of a moving vehicle?
Let's go.
Hey, you gotta go.
If you should ever leave me.
You know, you've handled this lost toy life better than I could.
Open your eyes, Woody. There's plenty of kids out there. Sometimes change can be good.
You can't teach this old toy new tricks.
You'd be surprised.
Bonnie? We're going home, Forky.
God only knows
Bonnie, I'm coming.
On my way, Woody.
To infinity and beyond.
Don't let Woody leave. Kids lose their toys every day.
I was made to help a child. I don't remember it being this hard.
Woody, somebody's whispering in your ear. Everything's gonna be okay.
God only knows what I'd be without.
Everyone,
Alrighty. Very cool indeed. I'm excited for that. I hope you guys are too. You saw that it was coming out towards the end of June 21st, which is interesting because I think that's even going to be right around the time of Toy Story Land's first anniversary at Hollywood Studios. If that's going to sync up, of course it syncs up well with merch. Gotta love that merch. We expect to see some new merch in the land, but listen, I just think that trailer looks great. I think that it's going to be an interesting story, almost like Toy Story 1, but kind of in reverse, in the opposite. In Toy Story 1, Woody and Buzz were trying to get back to Andy. This one, Woody and, is trying to go get a toy and then bring it back to Bonnie. Along the way, he meets some, former friends, past friends, Bo Peep, who's gone on to other things. We saw those new characters in there, including Sporky. He looks funny. We saw the Key and Peele characters in there. We saw the dolls in there, the creepy dolls. So expect this to have that same kind of Toy Story vibe that we've grown accustomed to, but a new kind of story. I think it's a new kind of almost buddy comedy with new characters. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to, there's still Buzz, there's still Woody, there's still going to be, Ham, Mr. Potato Head. Those characters we've grown to love over the last, 20 some odd years. Very cool. Shane, good to see you, my friend. Thank you so very much for being here. Can't wait for sad time like the last one. Exactly. I bawled my eyes out on Toy Story 3 on a couple of occasions, of course. Sim, is this the last Toy Story? So they haven't announced a fifth one, right? But it wouldn't surprise me if they continued this. It's a really interesting sort of film franchise, and the third film was the perfect ending in many, many ways. But the fourth film could be the perfect beginning to a new trilogy, to a new generation of viewers to watch these Toy Story films. I think if it was the last movie, we'd all be fine with that, as long as it ends correctly. I think the biggest thing that it has going against it is that Toy Story 3 was so good. It came 10 years or so almost after Toy Story 2. So even longer than that, actually. It came almost 11 years after Toy Story 2. So the fact that, it ended so well and we waited so long for that, to get a fourth one, I think it's a little daunting that, it's not going to live up to hype. It's not going to live up to the expectation. Sue Brown is saying she can't wait. Neither can I. And Shane's saying, there's going to be a sappy part towards the end. Oh, great. Austin Lee, our resident in-house film critic, is saying he enjoyed the trailer, excited for all the Disney films coming to theaters this year. And Danielle's saying the same thing. So many good live actions, so many great classic films being adapted into live action, in addition to things like Toy Story 4, in addition to Frozen 2 coming out later this year. We have, Dumbo, The Lion King, Aladdin, all of these live adaptations that will be coming out this year, not to mention the other wings of the Disney studios, like Marvel. Endgame is coming out in a couple of months, and Star Wars Episode 9 will be coming out towards Christmas as well. I think there's just so many incredible Disney films coming out under the entire Disney umbrella, whether it's Disney Animation, Disney Live Action, Pixar, Lucasfilm with Star Wars, or Marvel. So much great stuff, awesome characters. Lou said the third one made her cry so much. I hope this is not as sad, but she is saving her tears for The Lion King later this year. I love that. You're saving your tears for The Lion King, for Simba and Mufasa. So great. So we'll, definitely do a review for Toy Story 4 when it comes out later in June. But until then, I think I'll just be rewatching this trailer over and over and over again. I love it, and it's great, that Toy Story really has become a full scope in the Disney parks realm as well. First we had Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, then we had Midway Mania. Now we have a whole land of Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios. So these characters are iconic Disney now, just as much as they are iconic Pixar, which is great. I love it. Can't wait to see that movie. All right, let's move on to our third Disney news story of the week, and that's a little business deal. So going on for almost over a year, probably well over a year actually, Disney has acquired 21st Century Fox. This is a multi-billion dollar acquisition. I think it was something like $70 billion or something like that. Just an insane amount of money. But today, 21st Century Fox announced on Twitter that the Disney acquisition of Fox is complete. The Walt Disney Company acquisition will become effective at 12:02 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, March 20th. So in just a little over 4 or 5 hours, something like that. I'm not good with math. Fox will come under the Disney umbrella. Now this is a lot, basically the Fox Film Studios, so Fox Searchlight, 20th Century Fox, the animation wings, those will all come under Disney. FX will come under it. Certain television channels like National Geographic, but other things like Fox Sports, Fox News, local Fox affiliates, local Fox Sports News, those will not be coming under the Disney wing, just because Disney already has ABC, Disney already has ESPN. They can't own double channels like that. That's just against, that goes against a lot of laws. This merger was being held up for a while. Kind of had to go country by country. The last few were, I believe, Brazil and Mexico. Once those were confirmed by their governments respectively, it came on board. Very exciting. Danielle says, Anastasia, can finally be a Disney princess now. And Danielle, you bring up a very, very interesting point in the intellectual property discussion. So what does Fox bring to the table? When it comes to certain characters and stuff, I don't think they bring a whole lot. I think what Fox brings is potential. Disney is announcing, has announced its streaming service. Disney Plus will be coming online later this year, I believe. They need a lot of content for that. They need a lot of new content for that to compete with Netflix, with Amazon, even with Facebook in some regards. There's so much content out there that you just have to keep, piling on more and more and more. Disney's doing a great job by saying, hey, once you come onto Disney Plus, you'll see every single one of our Disney films on there. Every single one of them will be on there. But they need extra content to keep bringing people in, to keep saying, hey, have you heard about that new Star Wars show on the Disney streaming service, or that new Marvel show, or that new, standalone Marvel film on there? Fox brings a unique perspective to that with different characters, and kind of a thing where you can basically say, this is a Fox film, right? We know it's a Fox film, but Disney is able to create a completely different storyline. Will a lot of Fox content live on the Disney streaming service? Probably not, but it wouldn't surprise me if those animations, like Anastasia, like Ice Age, come onto that platform because they're family friendly, because that's what Disney is going for. When it comes to the parks, who really knows what's going to come into the parks from 20th Century Fox? This is a big deal for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Before, Marvel became Marvel Studios, they would license out their characters to other studios. That's why, why Sony produces things like Spider-Man. It's why it's why Fox produces things like Fantastic Four, X-Men. So those characters can now fully become part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, can now become part of, those films and those stories for the next phases and beyond. Very cool indeed. And now that it's complete, I think we're going to start seeing some, really quick happenings when it comes to Disney announcements of, hey, this is going to become part of, the Disney streaming service. These movies are going to come out. We're going to put this in the parks. We're going to add this to the realm of Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's a lot going on. Yes, and Danielle, you're exactly right. With this merger, they'll be able to make more non-family related content under the Fox name. Disney has been making non-family content for quite a while. They had things like Touchstone Pictures. They bought a lot of Miramax films. So Touchstone and Miramax were very much, adult-heavy films, but Disney said, there's a lot of potential in family-friendly films, a lot of potential in animation, but if we want to continue to grow, we're going to have to come up with these other ones. Hollywood Pictures was another studio that they had. So they would always, own those, but it would be released under those kind of companies, those organizations, those production studios. That was the reason, because if you saw a movie was rated R and the castle of, Walt Disney Pictures came up, you might be a little confused, you might be a little turned off, and Disney doesn't want their Disney brand associated with that. But having a Fox on board can now, release those R-rated, those PG-13 rated films that are very appealing to a mass audience, but they don't have to put under the Disney, brand name. So it helps them in the long run from a brand perspective, but also from an accumulation of cash perspective of viewership, eyeballs, fans. So very cool. This took quite a while to complete, but now that it's done as of 12:02, don't forget 02 a.m. tomorrow. I think a lot is going to, start to happen with this merger. I'm very excited for the potential that it holds for the company. They got to start making money because, I mean, $70 billion doesn't, pay for itself. So we'll see how this plays out. But for now, it's officially confirmed. Disney has now full control of Fox, and Fox is under Disney's wing. All right, so that was the last news story of the week. Let's move on to some WDW opinion content. And first, we'll dive into this week's podcast episode. This week's podcast episode, we had a ton of fun recording. Me and my co-host, Hank Molsky, we came up with this question because a few weeks ago, we posted a photo on our Facebook and our Instagram page about It's a Small World. And the photo, put a simple question out. It said, do we actually hate It's a Small World? Or do we love to hate It's a Small World? So many people go up and say, oh, that song, I can't stand that ride, it's awful. But are they just saying that because it's the cool thing to do? Well, let me say, first off, I was overwhelmed by your all's responses to that question, to those images. We had, I think, almost 300 comments, something crazy like that. And the vast majority of people said, I love this ride. I love this ride. I love this ride because I used to go on it as a kid. Now I can take my kids on. I love this ride because I have so many happy memories associated with it. We thought that was so cool that you guys are so passionate about that ride, but we also said, it's a ride that's been around for a very, very long time. 1964 World's Fair is when it debuted. And then there have been other iterations since, that 64 World's Fair one was shipped out to Anaheim, to Disneyland. The It's a Small World in Magic Kingdom opened with the park. So it got us thinking. And we wanted to think, what are the Disney World rides you're supposed to love? Kind of like you're supposed to hate It's a Small World, right? But everyone says you have to love It's a Small World. You have to love this ride. You have to love this ride. We wanted to say, what are the rides, the attractions, where people say you're supposed to love this ride? And as a flip note, why are we supposed to love it? And do we actually love it? Danielle is saying It's a Small World is such a classic. You can't help but love it. I think that, remains to be true for a lot of people. Danielle. Renee, good to see you. She agrees with Danielle. Such a classic, It's a Small World. It's a Small World was just one of the attractions we talked about. We talked about other ones like, the Carousel of Progress, Peter Pan, Peter Pan's Flight. We talked about Country Bear Jamboree, the Hall of Presidents. All of these attractions that we realized, they're all classic attractions that have been around for a while, and we're supposed to love them because of that. But why are we supposed to love them? We realized that there was two factors. In the grand scheme of things, if you compare It's a Small World to a Flight of Passage, right? If you compare that to apples, Flight of Passage is the superior attraction from a technology standpoint, from maybe a storytelling standpoint, but the reason It's a Small World has been around for so long isn't necessarily, technology. Obviously, it was very technologically advanced when it first opened, but it's about the story. It's about, yes, that song gets stuck in your head, but you still want to sing it. It's about those iconic dolls. It's about the set pieces. It's when you go on the ride and you say, this is Disney. Kind of the same thing with the Carousel of Progress. You're like, this attraction doesn't make any sense. Why is it still here? Or even Country Bear Jamboree. It's hilarious. Only Disney could pull off its, Country Bear Jamboree. I absolutely love Country Bear Jamboree, but it has to stand the test of time. And I think those attractions are the ones we're supposed to love, are really the ones that you need to love them because they've been around for so long. It's not something to say, oh, well, it's been here forever, it's great. Or it's brand new, therefore it's great. It's that middle span. It's that it has these, elements that only Disney can conjure up. It has these storylines that stay true. My co-host Hank brought up an incredible point. He said, you know what it's like? If you were to go on a ride and you were to watch a movie and you love the movie, but then you didn't watch it for 10 years. and you watched it again finally after 10 years. If after that you said, you know what, that film holds up. That film holds up. That's what we're looking for with attractions. If you don't go for 10 years and then you go and you ride that and you say, that attraction's still great, I still love that attraction. Those are the rides we're supposed to love, which is awesome. Sue Brown said she listened to episode 34 today, and it's a good one. Thank you, Sue Brown. Listen, all, if you haven't listened to the episode yet, please do. It's a great convo. Hank and I had a lot of fun. You can go to wdwopinion.com/episode 34 to listen to that. Lou is saying, last trip, I did ride It's a Small World because I love it. That's awesome. But I had earphones on the whole time just because of that song. But I left the ride loving it even more. See, so that's a preventative measure. Maybe you do put those headphones on, so you don't hear the song. You just look at the set pieces and you say, oh, this is nice. I'm having a lovely time. But you don't have to have that song stuck in your head the entire time. And Danielle's, good tip for Danielle now. She can tell her friends to plug in some headphones so they don't have to hear that song. Joanne, coming from across the pond, good evening. We're so happy to have you. Thank you for being here from one fellow opinioneer to another. So there you have it. We talked a lot about these classic attractions. I brought in a couple newer attractions of saying, why are we supposed to love these attractions too? It's a fun discussion. You don't want to miss it. On that episode, we also talk about the ticket price increase that just occurred in Walt Disney World, as well as we kind of give some backstory into those flexible ticket options. Those flexible ticket options that Disney announced last October, they're tricky to get your, head wrapped around. It's just another complicated element in an overly complicated vacation planning experience, which is a Disney World trip. So Hank and I discussed that a lot. He shared a personal story of his where he was buying some tickets and then something happened. Basically, it went up in ticket prices right before he was buying them. So he had to kind of work around. We got some tips for you to lock in, lower rate discounted tickets at, reputable sources. You'll definitely want to tune in for that as well on the episode. All right, enough podcast talk. Let's talk about this week's article of the week. This one I wrote a while ago, but it was brought up in the WDW Opinioneers Facebook group and community. Dana Lowell, I believe it was, brought up the fact that she's going on a solo trip to Disney World later this month. But she is a little bit nervous about, the part where it is solo. So I think some family's coming later on, but in the beginning, she'll be there solo. She's a little worried about it, and I said, don't be worried. I absolutely love solo Disney World trips. In fact, I wrote a blog post about it. I shared it with her, and I think it's a great time to talk about that blog post because, let me just say this. I'm an independent person. I understand that. I know a lot of people need to always have a travel buddy or need to have, a traveling companion. I totally understand this. But if you just even take a couple days out of your vacation just to be by yourself, I think that's going to mean the world when it comes to recharging your batteries. I think you'll get so many new perspectives on so many new things. You'll also learn a lot about yourself. I'm a huge advocate for solo travel, and I think if you do want to get into solo travel, Disney World is the perfect place to start out with that. I've been on many solo trips or many solo day trips to Disney parks. I've got a quasi-solo trip coming up in just a couple weeks down to the Disney parks. But in this article I wrote, which you can read fully by going over to WDWopinion.com and searching solo, S-O-L-O, I give 5 reasons in this blog post about why you have to book a solo Disney trip right now. Number 1, it's your trip and you can do what you want. Disney World is a world, I say it all the time, because of that, there's so many different things to do, so many different ideas and so many places you can go. When you have a larger group, that means a lot more opinions, a lot of people saying, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. When it's your trip, the only person you have to agree with is yourself. If you want to have ice cream at 10 in the morning, have some ice cream at 10 in the morning. If you want to skip breakfast and go ride after ride after ride, meanwhile, if you brought a kid along, they'd have to eat breakfast. You don't have to abide by anyone. If you want to ride It's a Small World 10 times in a row, the only person you have to blame is yourself for doing that after the fact. Having a solo trip means having the ability to say, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And that's what Disney World's all about. It's about living out your fantasy, living out your trip. So look, Brett, how you doing, Brett? Good to see you. He said, I wish I did a solo trip before having kids because Disney World is a really cool place to explore without having the little ones rushing him along. Brett, I love that. I think, as they get older, I think there's potential for you, to sneak down to the parks if you can. No matter what your age is, I think, a solo trip, if you're an adult, is a good option in Walt Disney World. So never say never, Brett. Never say never. And Lou agrees with you. Same here. A solo trip is awesome to explore by yourself. I think what it comes down to is being able to just say, this is what I'm going to do, and I don't need anyone to rush me along. My second tip was you can stop and smell the roses. A lot of the times when we go with a big group of people, we feel, oh man, we gotta go with this person. We gotta hit this, and this, and this, because I want them to see it all. But if you go by yourself, you can be more comfortable saying, I don't want to go on any attractions today. I just want to walk around the parks. I want to sit on a bench. I want to people watch for a while. I want to go into these restaurants. I want to go into these shops. You can do that by yourself. You don't need anyone rushing you along. And that mentality of, we have to do this, we have to do that, really breeds when it comes to larger groups. You want others to have fun. You want to accommodate others. But at the end of the day, maybe everyone just wants to take a breather, sit back, smell the roses, but they're worried that someone else is going to say something else and, rush them along. I think a solo trip really helps you just kind of take it easy, take it chill. It can kind of be a complete 180 from a lot of commando style trips we can have. We have a couple other opinions in there. You can read the full tips, I should say, over at WDWOpinion.com. I will share one final one. Solo trips will make you try new things. A lot of my solo trips, I like to go on attractions that don't necessarily mean, I have to sit next to someone or I have to go in a party or wait in line by myself. I like things like the Liberty, Square riverboat, the Liberty Bell, as it were. I like going on that boat. I like just, going right up to the front, seeing the rivers of America go by. I think that's a really cool thing that I never really did with a larger group. The Walt Disney World Railroads, the same way. It's closed right now, but those sorts of attractions I think are appealing because you're able to experience them and you don't have to try and convince someone else to go on it. Because of that, you're more likely to make things new, to try out new things. Maybe you go to Restaurant Marrakesh because no one in your family likes Moroccan food, but you want to try it. Maybe you go to single ride rock and roller coaster because no one in your family likes to go upside down, but you want to give it a shot. Trying new things means broadening your horizons, and it also means opening up on your trip so that you don't get, too bogged down in, I'm all by myself. Going there, experiencing new things for yourself, I think really means branching out. It's empowering to you, and as you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of solo Disney trips. So listen, if you have any questions about solo Disney trips, you're wary of it, you kind of need some convincing, I can be the one to convince you. I swear it's a good idea. But if you have any questions about that, you can email me, Conor@WDWOpinion.com. That's CONOR @WDWOpinion.com. I'd be happy to answer any and all questions you've got for me there. You know who else would be happy to answer any of your questions? Our fellow WDW Opinioneers. I said at the top of the show, what's an Opinioneer? You're an Opinioneer for watching this. Opinioneers take the word opinion for all the opinions we have and share, and it takes Mouseketeers for our love of Disney, and it mashes them together. This is how we share our Disney opinions. The WDW Opinioneers community is alive and well. You guys do so much great work over there on that new community on Facebook. Every time I'm logging on, there's some new and interesting people saying, hey, how's it going? Asking cool questions, really vibing together. I love the community that's being built over there. And I really do mean this from the bottom of my heart, guys. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Whether it's these shows, the podcast, commenting on Facebook or on Instagram, whether it's interacting with your fellow WDW Opinioneers in the community, I love it so very much. It gives me the opportunity to see you guys really kind of come into your own. When it comes to the Facebook page, I love sharing my content with you guys, but now with the Opinioneer community, it's great to see what you guys want to share, what you guys want to, discuss. That's all I ever wanted to do, really. I was craving Disney content. I've always craved Disney content, and I've always craved a community to share it with. I hope the WDW Opinioneers community is impactful for you as much as it is for me. Brett is saying, I love that you opened the Opinioneer group. Brett, we love having you there as well, my man. It means the world to me. Thank you so very much, brother. Thank you very much for being an Opinioneer as well. And Sue Brown says, I love the new logo. We got a new WDW Opinion logo. We got a new Opinioneers logo. We're new all throughout. New glasses, new year, new me. Am I right? So guys, thank you again so very much for being here, for being part of this community, for letting me do what I love, sharing my Disney passion with you. If there's anything I can do to help you on your next Disney trip, whether it's planning for or daydreaming about, you can go over to WDWOpinion.com to get all of our latest content. But if you have a specific question, please do share it with us. Conor, C-O-N-O-R, at WDWOpinion.com. Listen, guys, if you're watching on the replay, be sure to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Facebook Live. We are here every Tuesday night. It's great to chat with you guys in real time. It's great to expand the WDW Opinioneers community, and I love doing it. It's a highlight of my week. Every Tuesday, I have a big smile on my face, picking out the stories I'm going to talk to with you guys. Because as I'm going through, I'm like, I wonder what they're going to say about this. I wonder what they're going to say about that. It's a great tool for us to connect our community together, and I really do appreciate you all showing up. Until then, you'll be able to catch me in the WDW Opinioneers community. Go over to WDWOpinion.com/Opinioneers to join that group if you haven't. Tune into the podcast and go over to WDWOpinion.com to get all of our latest content. Until next Tuesday, right back here at 7 p.m. Eastern, I hope you guys have a fabulous, fabulous week. I hope all of your dreams come true. And until next time, I'll see you real soon.